Marcus here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be talking about Mabinogi Mobile. I just watched their first look video where they revealed the game. I took some notes, so I'm gonna be kind of breaking it down, what they revealed on the video. The video was in Korean and I used the translations, gather all this information. So there might be some mistakes because I don't speak Korean. But if there's any mistakes, hit me up in the comments and we can talk about it. The video starts with the original visionary behind Mabinogi kind of sharing his excitement about bringing this game to mobile. This seems to be kind of his vision that after 20 years, everyone is going to be able to play Mabinogi on their mobile phones, which is all cool. I mean, if you told me 20 years ago that everyone's going to be playing games of this level on their mobile phone, I would have just laughed at your face. So yeah. The first part of the video was around story and setting. Mabinogi Mobile is going to be around G1, G3, Goddess Advent chapters. But they say it's going to be offering a fresh perspective. You can think it as like a parallel world connecting stories from Mabinogi and Mabinogi heroes. So you can prepare visiting kind of iconic locations and explore areas from Mabinogi heroes. You're also going to be encountering kind of beloved characters alongside with the completely new characters, which is always awesome. After that, they talk about how Mabinogi is about the connections you make. So the Mabinogi Mobile is aiming to capture the magic. So there's going to be a heavy focus on community and shared experiences, which is something that a lot of mobile games doesn't do very well, in my opinion. A lot of them are just kind of like single player games that might have some multiplayer stuff on top of them, but I'm really curious to see how they're going to do that with the Mabinogi. They talk about how you can imagine gathering around campfire, sharing stories, and just going on adventures with your new friends, doing like daily life activities like fishing, gathering, and the part-time jobs, which was a big thing in Mabinogi, and actually one of the more unique features of the game. And they promise, no matter if you're solo player or you prefer to team up, they want to provide kind of a diverse and engaging experience, which is also something that a lot of mobile games just don't offer at all. Then they talk about character customization. You're going to be able to express yourself, having kind of extensive character customization options, from like outfits to hair dyes, which also makes me think that it's not going to be a gacha game. So you're going to be creating your own avatar and not gambling. Maybe they're going to have a gacha mechanic for fashion, which I'm completely fine to, but as long as you're creating your own avatar, I think that's pretty good. Then we got to the part that is actually interesting to me, which is the class system and the combat. They said that it's going to offer a flexible class system, allowing you to freely switch between different playstyles by just changing your weapon. You're going to start by picking one of the 5 apprentice classes: a warrior, archer, magician, healer, or bard. Each of these classes can branch out into 3 distinctive advanced specialization, which can offer you a wide range of combat styles, no matter what you prefer. So for example, warrior can play either a greatsword or swordsman. The archer has an option to go like a longbow or crossbow. The magician seems to be able to swap between like lightning, ice, and fire mage, depending how you want to play. You got a healer, you have a priest, monk, and then obviously you have the bard, which can go into like a dancer. But the bard is going to be just support buff class, as expected. I'm really not a fan of this trend where the weapon kind of determines your class. So really, especially games like New World and Throne and Liberty. But I think this is an awesome system where you're actually picking the class, but then on top of that, you're allowed to pick like a weapon that will determine your playstyle. This is the kind of system I like to see. And on top of that, you can just freely switch the weapon and just switch your class that way. So you're not going to be locked into any of these classes, which sounds awesome. The comments around combat seem to be a bit vague, so that's something I just have to play myself and try. Because it all depends on the combat feel. I don't really trust what I see when games showed me the combat. I have to play it myself to give my opinion on it, so that one has to wait a little bit until the game comes out. But we'll see. Then there was a bit of talk about the content, the dungeons, the hunting grounds, which seems pretty much in line with what Mabinogi offers. You basically just have your basic dungeons that you can explore with your friends, or then you can do hunting grounds, which is more of an open world area with challenges and exploration, gathering, and treasures. So I assume that's going to be similar to like other mobile games like Genshin Impact, where you get to run around on the open world and just pick stuff up. They also talk about some kind of system where you might be able to meet people when you're in the same dungeon and do it together. So I'm really curious if someone could translate and tell me in the comments what did they mean by that. Is it like some kind of party matcher you're gonna be doing before the dungeon, or is it something you go into the dungeon and then you're able to kind of match up while you do it? Because if that's the case, that sounds really cool. Then there was some talks about the seamless cross-platform support for mobile and PC. They kind of highlighted a feature where you can actually play the game vertically. You can chat vertically, and then you fight. You have to play horizontally. I think that's pretty cool, especially for a game that's going to be so community-based. And I'm glad to hear that it seems like they're going to be a full-on PC client and there's no emulators or any crap like that. So that's always a plus. I'm going to be able to play it on PC. I don't really play on my mobile, so to me, the PC client is like a must thing to have. Hopefully they allow us to rescale the UI and stuff like that, because that's always a big pain point for me with these mobile games, is the UI scaling. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. Please let me scale the UI. Then they talked about post-launch plans with the full roadmap, promising new content, new classes, and new challenges all year long. I'm really glad to hear that. But then again, when you go in for mobile, the expectations for content is insane. Anyone who's played like MiHoYo games knows that the amount of content they push is just ridiculous. So when that's the expectation, you better have a roadmap for your game at this point. But they did tease us a little bit with the high difficulty, Abyss dungeons, 8-player raids, and new story chapters, and paladin class. So I'm really curious to see all these, especially the 8-player raids in a mobile game. Sounds kind of interesting to me. So I have to see how that develops. There we have it, Mabinogi Mobile. It's coming out March 27th this year. To me, this video kind of came out of nowhere, so I wasn't really ready for it. But I think it sounds like it's shaping up to be quite interesting mobile game. I know people like to hate on mobile games, but then again, I don't think there's anything wrong with the mobile platform itself. It's just the type of games that companies decide to develop on the platform, and having like extremely predatory monetization. They didn't talk about the monetization on this, so that's a big question mark. Like I said earlier, the video was in Korean, so I relied on basically a Google translation. So if there was anything that was kind of off on the translations, tell me in the comments. I would love to hear it and kind of fix it up. Maybe make a follow-up video. And also, tell me in the comments, what are you most excited about? Mabinogi Mobile. I know this game has a pretty passionate community, so I'm kind of curious to hear how people take this mobile game, especially if you're like a hardcore Mabinogi fan. I would love to hear it. Anyway, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, it really helps me out. Thanks for watching, I hope you have a good day, bye.